Welcome to another Tuesday night big show with Matthew Matson, and I am Pop Blender. And I lied last week. I thought that was going to be the last time that intro was played. But folks, if you use Clipchamp, be very careful. That is a very user-friendly novice editing software, video making software. It does work rather well, but it has some issues, and I know that 3-Star Draw can speak on that as well. And he may chime in here in a little bit and maybe chat on that. But hopefully I can restore all the 4 hours I put into making that intro.
Hopefully.
And real quick, Eric Thurman says no intro played. Okay, well, that's great. It sounded like it on my end, but maybe not. I have to go back and review the footage, like the NFL. Only I won't take 5 minutes to determine whether somebody was out of bounds or not.
It played.
Anyway.
It played.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. Eric, are you pulling my leg? Wouldn't be the first time I've had my leg pulled. That was a good time that time. Anyway, so Tuesday night, again, we're in a cycle where there's a few things that are out, a few things that are interesting or interest us. I can tell your level, Matthew, of enthusiasm for Rings of Power, for instance, right? We have not gone over that show, and I just don't have the interest. I don't think that our audience per se right now has any interest in the Rings of Power as well. It doesn't seem like it.
No, I don't think much anybody has an interest in it, and they're awful pissed off about that.
Yeah, I agree. And so it's like, looking at things to cover and, news and stuff like that. It's like sometimes you have ebbs and flows. I talked about it last week as well. So this week, got a few things that you and I are familiar with. We haven't done a deep dive in, but I have some stuff pulled up that we can go into. And I have some good news, I guess, to share here soon. And anyway, so without further ado, Matthew, and people are saying no intro. Well, okay, so was it the little quick 10-second Pop Blender thing that pops up and kind of flashes the name and everything? Is that kind of what I'm calling that, an intro, so to speak, I guess? Is that right? You said it played, so
yeah. Well, so from what I know from behind the stage, yeah, it played the countdown, and then it played the little pop blender thing, and then we were on. So
yeah,
that's what we have so far, guys.
maybe and so I'll see. Maybe it says it was nothing, so I'll have to go back and look at it and see. I know our cameras are not on while that's playing, but
Right.
That's something I need to look into then.
But looking here on the YouTube, like if I scrub
screen
back to YouTube, I see it
comes
and
up,
so,
little pink, kind of pinkish, dark pinkish, weird bubbly thing. Okay,
I don't know.
Well, dig it. Well, doesn't really matter ultimately.
It has happened before that I know that by the time the YouTube starts, it actually doesn't start until the intro was passed. It has done that before in the past.
Okay, so that's something I maybe need to pay attention to and look at, especially having this new one in the kitty, and hopefully I can get it to actually play for me even on my screen. But I'll look into that. But like I said, doesn't really affect anything. Just something to kind of kick things off. I know a lot of the shows I watch have a fun intro, like Open Bar
So
has
many
a
good
fun
ones.
one, and Night Tights and the Nerdrotic Nooner and stuff like that. So anyway, but yeah, real BBC. So enough of that rambling. Let's say hello to the chat so far. We've got Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro. Yeah.
And I spammed his last video with a bunch of comments. So I had like 3 or 4 comments I threw up there on his last video.
I love it. And I was able to Friday watch his stream. He had 3-Star Draw on. And so I was able to kind of watch their stream, going over a little bit of the info from Pulsecon, which we'll breeze through it. You guys have probably had enough of it, but I did want to see some of your opinions, Matthew, because I haven't really heard them as much. because on Monday night with Punk, you just moderate. So
Yeah.
I kind of will miss a lot of those chats, that you put in there instead of actually hearing you. And then so Friday night, yeah, watch Frostbite. 3 Star was on there. That was great. While I was working on the intro, actually, for hours, and so I didn't get to chat a ton, but loved it. It was fun, and he's had 3 Star on a couple times, man. Also, swinging by Eric Thurman, cool cover photo. That is one of Matthew's photos. If you're talking about the thumbnail for the stream, or you're talking about the background for this stream, this is Matthew's photo in the background. But the thumbnail, I had a little fun with making that. So either or is all good to me. Let's see here. Shane, same time toys back and forth. What's good, everybody? Rings of what? Yeah, nobody, and I mean nobody, is interested. And he also heard some good things about Clip Champ.
Come here.
It's
Come here.
easy.
Come here.
There you go.
Come on.
Let's see. Let's see some
Say
fur.
hi. Say hi.
Yay! Doggo.
She's just awful nervous because the dishwasher's going and I'm in the other
Oh
room, and
no.
she wants mommy and daddy on either side of her.
But that's okay, right? Like that is okay. And so if she wants to hang out, by all means, it doesn't bother me if I hear some jingle jingle of a caller or anything. Nothing you're going to hear me get upset about. That's for sure. What is her name?
That's Panda.
Panda. Okay. I'm guessing by the fur pattern.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that name was given to her by her second rescuer, and we just rolled with that and kept that. She had an interesting story.
Okay. Well, very cool. Well, she's more than welcome to hang out and listen to us ramble on. I'm sure she hears plenty of rambling in that house, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, man, I want to say we have a lot of stuff to cover. You know, like yourself, Matthew, I've had a busy week and a busy weekend, so I didn't get a chance to really go to the movies this week. Saw Beetlejuice last weekend, and like you did, or last week, and but there are a couple films. There's one film in particular I want to go see, and we're going to talk about it here in just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's some shows out that I'd like to see, and one of those is Tulsa King, which you had asked me the other day had I seen it. I actually have seen it. I saw probably half of last season. Didn't finish it for no particular reason.
Yeah.
But I do want to jump back on. If any of y'all have not seen that show, Tulsa King, it's actually fantastic. It's Sly Stallone, and he is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
It gets me in the end of the first episode. There's a scene that takes place, and it just made me die laughing because he sleeps with this woman, and she makes a comment, and then he makes a comment, and then she's like, you see her doing math in her head, and she goes, "Wait, how old are you?"
And he's pretty damn old. Yeah, it's a story of I say gangster, but that was
He's
in
a
prison.
capo. No,
Yeah.
no, he was a capo enforcer, and
Yep.
he did time to protect, and he didn't flip on anybody, so he was protecting the boss.
Yeah.
And he gets out, and he's expecting, his recompense, his back pay, so to speak.
Right.
And they say, well, you know what? Things are changing around here. The boss man's kind of sick. The son's kind of taken over. So they ship him off to Tulsa, Oklahoma to start a franchise out there. And basically, they're trying to get rid of him. They don't want anything to do with him anymore. He's the old school. He's doing things differently than the way that the son wants to do it. And so there becomes this conflict with him trying to be faithful to his oaths and his loyalties because that's who he is, but also trying not to get destroyed by this whole premise that they're throwing at him.
Yeah, and being old school, like it's just well written dialogue for him, for that character, but for the supporting actors as well. And he kind of assembles his own crew, so to speak.
Yeah.
And really the driver, that picks him
The
up in the
driver's
beginning, that's
awesome.
the first guy, right? And
Yep.
it's just like he gets wrapped up in this world, and it kind of goes on for there. It is a great show. It's pulls no punches. I mean, it
Yep.
pulls no punches. He has some dialogue in there that you probably would not have heard 3-4 years ago in a show, I would dare say,
Yep.
that might be offensive, so to speak.
Yeah. This
And
is another Taylor Sheridan. So Yellowstone, 1883 and 1923. This, and he's got a bunch of other
yes,
projects. But he worked with oh, I forget who else, but somebody who else did something else really good. They worked together on this Tulsa King show, and I think it's one of his best.
well, and Sheridan, I mean, super active, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's all over, and he is definitely, been making waves in Hollywood, um, and continues to do so, even with the whole Kevin Costner kind of thing, leaving the Yellowstone show and all that. But yeah, no. Anyway, Tulsa King, good show. Check it out. I'm gonna get caught up on it as well, so we can kind of shoot the breeze about it. 3-star draw is in here. 3-star. I was just mentioning about how Clip Champ sometimes will crap out on you, and so I had spent about 4 hours making a new intro for Matthew and I, and it just didn't. It says corrupted. It gives me like a corrupted
Yeah.
file, and so I was telling how kind of weird, that Clip Champ can be. It works well when it works, but it's weird. But it is an easy editing and video
Yeah.
making tool. But he says, "What's up, homies? Had to make a phone call. Howl at the moon. There is a super moon tonight, y'all.
And
We
in 30 minutes from now, there will be a lunar eclipse in my
hell.
area, at least.
Well, I tried to go outside and see it and take some pictures,
Oh,
and
it's nice looking.
it's super overcast out here
Ah,
in Nashville, so I can't see it at all.
did
Maybe that will change in a bit.
did I tell you that my mom had dinner with Taylor Sheridan up in Wyoming
No,
a
no,
couple years ago? Yeah. So I mean, he's always up there in Wyoming buying property and everything, and
right,
my mom has some property and knows the property people and has
okay,
some territory up there, and so they went to and had dinner with him and had a good time.
nice. Uh, hell yeah, and that's very. It's like places like the Dakotas, right? Like
Yeah.
population density is very thin. And so for people that love land, right, love being out there, that's all you could dream about, right? That's all
Yep.
you can hope for. And so yeah, that's cool though. No, I did not know that. I'm trying to think of anybody famous I've had dinner with, and that person was just me in the past, Matthew. Just me in the past. That's it. But anyway, Supermoon tonight. If you get a chance, go check it out. 3-star says eclipse is going on now here. Peaks at 9:44. Clouds are gone. All I had were clouds. Now 3-star is several miles from me, so maybe he has a different view, but I could not get a view of it. So we'll see. But anyway, Frostbite says, but will anyone experience a full eclipse of their aorta? Man,
Let's hope not.
man, yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. When that song was big back in the day, um, I was in love with Bonnie Tyler, and I don't even think Bonnie Tyler is an extremely attractive woman, but it was her voice. It was like she smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day and chewed broken glass. Like that was Bonnie Tyler's voice to me. But no, I don't know. I've never experienced a total eclipse of the heart, but I've had some heart-wrenching moments. I would say
Yeah.
that. And thank you, Frostbite, on the 100 subs. They say the first 100 is the hardest to get. We shall see. Which brings me to a little bit of news, somewhat news, I guess. Um, I've been put in contact with somebody who's going to help me grow the channel. Hopefully, we've got a plan moving forward. I've had some email conversations, so hopefully that next 100 or few will go a lot faster, and we can add to our audience here for sure. But also, and I can't reveal the magazine necessarily or website, but um, I very good possibility. I will have a Hollywood insider soon, um, in Tinseltown, and have someone that I can anonymously um, be able to get some information from, possibly, and maybe reveal or talk about some things that are going on behind the scenes. So that's something that's kind of come about in the last couple of days. So I'm pretty excited about that. We shall see if that comes to fruition, but the gentleman that it comes from is very reliable and very good source. So we'll see. So I'm excited about that, man. Hopefully, moving forward, we'll have some good news and some insider stuff from Hollywood, directly from Los Angeles, to bring up on the show, man. That'd be fun.
Travis Moody doesn't count, right?
Man, that guy. Come on. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. No, he does
Yeah,
not.
we love
But
Travis.
I love Travis. He's a good fella. So anyway, so yeah, without further ado, I guess we can kind of get into a few things. I know that everybody has probably had their fill of Pulsecon. So here's how we can do this, Matthew. I didn't really get your thoughts and haven't gotten your thoughts on anything. I can basically bring up a conglomerate or you know, site, and we could just roll down it real quickly that kind of has a little bit of everything, right? Instead of breaking it down by Joe or Transformers or
Mhm.
Star Wars, just kind of as the main stuff. We don't really need to go over, any kind of D&D stuff. I don't think anybody really cares about that. But I did save. Let's see
They're
here.
rolling out a whole new rule system to be all inclusive to everyone and get more people to play the
Ooh-wee.
game. And
Unbelievable. Yes, they are. How that's going to go over, I do not really know. Yeah,
they completely redid and totally revamped the entire character creation, story arc things, all of it. Basically, there's no good or evil. There's
yeah.
they changed the wording on everything. Yeah.
And they've been doing, they've been changing a lot of stuff and making it more, shall I say, DEI
Hmm.
um, compliant, right?
Yep.
And so there's a lot of people who have kind of dropped out. There's a lot of people using old books. They just do their own thing. They say, I don't, whatever. And that's what is good about that, is kind of open to where if you want to stick with what you know, stick with
Yep.
what you know.
Yep.
So anyway, just going through real quick, Star Wars Vintage Collection. I do like these. I'm not a
Yeah, the
Star Wars
Vintage
figure
Collection is
collector.
probably their best Star Wars line.
I
It blows
agree.
Black Series out of the water in my mind. I think just a lot of the stuff that they're doing in that scale is really
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah. I do. I really do like these, man. I mean, the detail on these, Luke's, outfit there, with the wrinkles and everything. Anakin, clone troopers. I love the clone troopers, and that's one of the main reasons why I love the Clone Wars, is because it really does kind of bring the clone troopers their own stories.
Yeah.
And highlights the different ones. I love the packaging. I think Three Star Draw made a mention of that on a chat the other night, about
Yeah,
the
the Clone
packaging.
Wars era stuff is really some of the best.
It
I
is.
love my Obi-Wan, Anakin with their clone troopers. I pre-ordered a Rex from BBTS 5 years ago, and it finally is in my pile of loot now. um,
Yeah, right.
and and even Ahsoka from that time frame. I like that design better, or maybe
Yeah,
near the end of the Clone War stuff, not the beginning.
not the
But
beginning, but as she grew more as a
yeah,
character and everything got a little older, because you did see in that show they went out of their way to age the characters
yeah,
through the seasons, which I really do appreciate.
yeah,
I do love that series. Like I really, 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 really love that series. If you can get through the first season and a half, the
yeah,
animation is a little rough.
yep,
But man, I really do. Now, Jedi Master Indara, this figure is going to be a peg warmer. It's going to be sitting. It just is. This character is not going to sell unless you're a big, Trinity fan, so to speak.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, some people get figures just for head sculpts.
that's true, and I guess really you're right. I mean, people buy them for all kinds of different reasons. I guess it doesn't just have to be that character. They may very well like that,
And I will
outfit
tell you
and
that
change
in
the
the
head.
Star Wars community, this female Imperial
She's
officer,
awesome.
she's actually pretty sought after.
Yeah,
So people are wanting that for customs, for the character, for all kinds of reasons. So some of these figures are going to do pretty good.
I actually love the character. I love the show Andor for one, and that's where
Yeah.
Deidre Miro comes from.
Yep.
And yeah, no, this is a great one. I do really like it. I mean, I know that's probably not showing up too great, or a little small, but I wanted to have kind of a site that kind of brought them all together. You got Luke here. Now that lightsaber is really long.
Hey, that's the
Holy
original Power of the
moly.
Force size lightsaber.
Yeah, yeah.
The first
But
run, not the second run.
right, yeah. I do love it though. I mean, and look, they know where their bread is buttered. Their bread is buttered with the OT. I mean, it just
Yep.
is, and it always will be.
Mm.
This Moss Isley, Streets of Moss Isley, collection here, um, you know, for photographers, cool,
Now
cool.
listen, if you got the Cantina, you're gonna
Yeah,
have to have this.
that's true. You know what? See, and that's why I love the fact that you're here, because you will bring that up, because this is something that you're going to be thinking about, or maybe not that you're going to buy, but that's something that you would think about that I would
Yeah.
not. Is say, hey, this would be a great addition if you got the Cantina, then add this to it. Uh, yeah, I mean, it comes with the Jawa. Um, not a whole lot to it. Reminds me of kind of your older play sets where you just kind of had a little facade of a building,
Yeah.
right? Or whatever. And so yeah, I mean, super easy. Nothing crazy. I
Barely an
did
inconvenience.
barely an inconvenience. Now, here we go. All right. So JediTempleArchives.com. We get hey, Prince Gizor.
Yeah, that one
I
looks
did
pretty awesome.
I did a review on this guy.
Yep.
He looks good. Now this is the Black Series.
Yep.
Um, and gosh, there's
That's gonna
so
be
many
that's
of
gonna
them.
be a highly sought after figure.
I,
So
I agree with you, and
yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
think he looks fantastic here, man. The fingers, I mean, just with the level of detail, and in that scale, and then Clone Commander Baccarat. Now, I don't I don't remember this guy from the Clone Wars per se.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't remember who he's attached to.
I know
Uh,
several of those guys. I don't remember him. And
Honestly, Cody and Rex are the big ones that I know, and then the
right,
501st ones. I mean,
right,
those are the
right,
only ones
right,
that ever stuck in my head. I know that each one of them had their own clone commander, but I couldn't tell you what their names were.
right. Um, they're the ones they focused on. There's one fives.
Yep.
Obviously, he said Cody. Rex, and there's a few other ones. As you watch the episodes, like, oh yeah, that guy. And but the commando droids.
I
They
think the
come
commando
out of
droids
that.
look great.
I think it's
That's
cool.
another one that if
Yep.
you've got a Grievous, you're going to have those guys, or if you're doing Clone Wars battles, I mean, those guys were formidable. So
Yeah. No, and they come out of that era, created with that show. Now, this is a guy from the Star Wars, the Jedi Survivor.
mhm.
You had Fallen Order, now you have Survivor, and so this guy is Dagan Gera. Interesting character. Sorry about that. He was missing an arm, in the when he gets revived, but he's a fallen Jedi. That's kind of frozen, so to speak, and you free him in the game. Pretty cool. I mean, it's not a character I think a lot of people are just gonna be fawning over just
Yeah.
because it comes from a game. We've got another Luke here, super brown hair on that Luke.
I haven't looked at these very much, but does that Luke come with the boonie hat?
Well, let's see. I was hoping they would show the package
Yeah, the one below it
version.
is no, that's Leia. Okay.
Yeah, that's Leia. I was hoping they would have one below it.
Yeah.
quite possibly. I'd have to look
I,
that up, but the
I mean,
booty hat would
if
be
they were going
pretty
to
cool.
do justice to the figure,
Right,
right? They would have
right,
the booty hat in there from the deleted scenes from the intro to Star Wars.
right. Yeah, that's true. Lord knows that film was saved during editing, without
Mm-hmm.
a doubt. And then we get
For sure.
Leia Organa. Yeah, the editing and the music really could care less about this thing, whatever that is.
Oh, that's the
Um,
armorer's helmet, right?
it is the armorer's
Yeah,
helmet, but I thought it was funny that they just have someone with the helmet on in the
in the
photo.
office.
It's like,
Yeah, it's
yeah. And then obviously,
low effort.
we get to our classified. There's only really, from what I saw, like one transformer that I could see as I was scrolling through Pulsecon
Yeah.
and kind of reveals and stuff like that. But anyway, we've gone over these. You guys have gone over these. There he is. Wraith Mace is in the house. What's going on, buddy? Finally got this live, and I am glad you are here, my friend. Hope all is well. As you were doing good. Yeah, the armor is hot. You just like the voice, Frosty. That's what it is. You just like that voice.
No,
Although,
she's working in the smelter all day. Of
oh,
course she's
that's
hot.
it. That's why she's hot. Of course, that's why she's hot. Yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. A British accent gets me all, and not some, not a bit, all of the time, my friends. Also, real quick, 3-star draw said he got the retro stalker email that it shipped. I have not checked, so I have not gotten that yet. I will take a look. Matthew, you probably check to see. Did you order him at all or no?
Nope.
Okay, well, then that settles that. To hell with that. I'll look in a little bit and see if I got it. Punk with Toys dropping by with his classic Hello Fools. Yes, and yeah, Emily is hot. She is hot. The woman behind the mask. And she works in with a furnace, smelting furnace. So she's always hot. God, the sweat that woman must have. Mm-mm-mm. Anyway, this is going off the rails. All right, so let's go ahead and just scroll down real quick. We've got a punk with Lauren. I
Yeah.
mean
Yep.
Leatherneck. It starts with an L. It's a Lawrence neck.
Lawrence
Um,
Neck. Yep.
yeah, I do love
Larry Neck. That's our Larry Neck
Larry neck.
figure.
I did love the hat last night. I thought that was unbelievable, and how he came upon that on
Yeah.
such short
No.
notice, I
Yeah, that was pretty
appreciate.
quick. I
I
love it. I
appreciate it.
love it.
That is a true content creator thinking on their toes, because he stands on his toes a lot.
Yeah, he's got
So
to. Three
he's
stars. That's
got
a
to.
totally different channel there, bud. Totally different channel.
Wait a minute. Oh, Lord have mercy. Where have we gone? But anyway, so yeah, Larry Neck looks great. I love it. I do want this guy. I've wanted this figure for a while. Um, at least we're keeping it in that area, those years where we were still, staying away from some of the futuristic. I know there's still some guys that came out with this wave, but love it.
He
Love the
was the
camo.
one that I was least impressed with or least excited about
I guess that makes
out of this
sense.
wave.
You
I mean,
really,
not that I don't like him and what he's coming
yeah.
with and stuff, but he didn't excite me or enthrall me as much as Dial Tone or Xandar.
Yes. Now I know that you also really do like the Saw Viper. I was not as impressed as you are. We'll get to it real quickly. Real quick. 3-star draw. He also shared my opinion, and we'll go over that probably tomorrow night. But yeah, no, man, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for the classic camo, classic military, whether that's that hat, helmet, I'm a sucker for Gung Ho's Dress Blues figure. Like I love that figure,
Yeah.
but I love that classic, kind of look. And here, this is all I'm all about this. But yes, I'm with you as far as maybe out of all of them, at least not the renders, but the four. Yeah, maybe I can see where he's not quite as wanted, or maybe not
I
as
don't
looks
know.
as good.
Maybe I'm getting to that point in my life. I just like the crazy, weird stuff now.
That's okay because that happens, right? Like,
I mean,
it just
I
is.
was all
Taste
about
change.
the hardcore military stuff, the original, 82, 83 line, because I had
Yeah,
all of them, and those are the
yeah.
ones that I grew up with, and I built on that. But lately, I don't know. I've been really loving what Classified is doing with the Cobra Law stuff, with the Dreadnoks for the most part. There's some missteps, some things I don't like about it, but I still am looking at what they're doing with it. I'm thinking this is pretty interesting. It's very interesting. It's very cool. It's very different.
So did you like Cobra Law as a kid?
I didn't ever have a problem with it. I don't think
Okay.
I really actually liked it, but as time has gone on and I've watched that movie more and more, I'm like, this is actually kind of interesting when you think about things that are actually happening on our planet, underneath the surface, and ancient
Okay.
civilizations, and
Right.
you learn about all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, this is actually cooler than I thought, because it's got tied to some actual archaeological findings, so to speak. Maybe not in the polar ice caps, but in different places around the world. So that kind of brings me back around to, it's more interesting than I thought as a kid, because as a kid it was stupid sci-fi, and I love stupid sci-fi. So
Okay. Yeah, I was not as much into Cobra Law, but when the movie came out, I was, even as a kid, I was disappointed.
no,
But
yeah,
what
like I didn't want
happened?
any of the figures or anything like that
Yeah,
as a kid. It was just really weird. I just appreciated it for the Dreadnoks and the opening scene and the music, and yeah,
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
I think what happens is you fall in love with certain characters, and then, of course, they're trying to sell toys. So as they
Yeah.
move on and they introduce new ones, you're like, no, I want to see more Flint. I want to see more this person, but they have just a
Well,
small role moving forward, or they're not featured at all. And that's
and
kind of
that
what.
was a huge battle actually that Kirk had with his superiors on saying, you know, downtown was supposed to be short fuse version 2. Beachhead was supposed to be Stalker version 2.
Okay.
They are redesigning these characters and creating all new profiles for them, when they could have been alternate clothings or advancements from the characters we know and love. And he fought the corporate side on that, and the corporate side won. And so they just created all these new characters, which is great, I guess. But it's also nice to have those alternate versions. And every now and then we get Arctic Stalker, which is an amazing figure.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and I think too, it's one of those situations where you kind of end up doubling up on their specialties, right? It's
Right.
kind of like, okay, how many of this particular specialty do you need? Well,
How many mortar
obviously,
soldiers do you need?
right, and we know the reason. It's obviously to sell toys. I mean, bottom line.
Yeah.
Real quick, Punk talking about the armorer. Yes, she is more than welcome to leave her helmet on. I am okay with that. Um, and Frostbite. This has turned into a Dan Aykroyd Chevy Chase spies like us greeting. Yeah, maybe I'm okay with that. I love all those guys, and I want to say
Right.
hi to Shark Eyes real
What's up,
quick.
Adam?
Sliding in here. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Stopped by the stream the other day as well with Adam and Aaron, and I was up at 4:30 in the morning Central Time, and so I was on their stream for a little bit, just chatting in the chat till I fell back asleep. Yeah. So dial tone, I love this figure. I love the fact that the colors are, right on the money. I am a-okay with this bad boy. This guy was hard to find when I was a kid. Me and 3 Star searched all over
Yeah.
for him, and I think he ended up getting him and grabbing me one too. And so yeah, I love it.
When I had this figure as a kid, um, Stalker was one of my favorites, but this was like the next guy with a beret that I had. And so I said, okay,
Yeah,
this is my covert special ops guy. And I, had so much fun with the figure.
yeah. Uh, I did. I did. I loved this character. I really
Yeah.
did. I don't know what it was. I don't know why. I appreciate this photography here with the faux rain. In the shot, and Leatherneck in the background. Yeah, I
I,
do. I
I
like
love this backpack. I mean, the stuff that they did with this backpack is Also,
Yeah, and we had kind of thought maybe this was something that wasn't very stable. If you set it down, it might fall over. It looks pretty flat on the bottom to me, and looks like that it will sit up and actually.
whatever, man. Use some sticky tack. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. And for those, that's something I agree 100%. Yeah, 3-star draw says it was just so bizarre for GI Joe in '87. I can appreciate it much more now. Just picture it's in a multiverse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I'm with you. That's when I bailed out, is when things started to get more sci-fi and less classic military. And like I said
well,
earlier,
I
that's
mean,
what
we were
I'm
also
really
aging out of it,
into.
right? I mean, I
That's
was into
true.
GI Joe way longer than I should have been.
I was chasing girls in '89.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was
that's
a freshman
exactly
in
what I was
high
doing.
school, and I was chasing girls, and it's like, I don't have time for this. That's what
Yeah,
happened for me.
but I was trying to do both at the same time, and then I realized in '92 that I was probably too old for this for a little while.
Yeah, yeah.
But it wasn't till, I mean, '94 I was back to collecting stuff again.
Well, I think ultimately it's like, if it's something you really enjoy, then
Yeah,
there's a place for it. And the people that you like or you want to go out with or whatever, you'll figure out a way for them to be okay with it too. And then they're not
yeah,
always gonna be.
right.
But yeah, yes, Sears is where dial tone was drummed up years ago for 3-star myself. Here's Saw Viper. Again, you know, I I'm
I think it
fine.
looks good.
I'm fine. Love the purple. Big Prince fan here. Love me some purple. Um, looking more at it, I'm like, okay, cool. This is a heavy trooper, right? Like, this is a
Yeah,
heavy trooper with heavy armor. Um, I do like the fact that the saw comes out and it has an actual handle for him to hold rather than like a flat piece or something.
yeah.
And so and I like the mask all right. He does definitely look like Batman right there.
Yeah, well,
Um,
so yeah, and that's from the what 25th anniversary,
yeah,
whatever, that whole line when they made the helmet removable like that.
right.
So
I was and reading that in some comments. Cool picture here, but yeah, saw Viper, and then last but not least, and there's the blade, right? The
yeah,
saw with the
and like
handle.
I said, I've got the perfect picture in mind. I know exactly where I'm going to set up
Oh,
Doc and my
yeah.
Saw Viper.
Yeah, I definitely know that you are gonna have some fun for sure. Aside from this boring packaging, love me some
Yeah,
Xandar. Didn't care for him as a figure. I had him as a kid. Didn't really care for him that much. I did like those original Dreadnoks and then Thrasher because of the Thunder Machine. Monkey Wrench probably. I did have Zanzibar and his little air skiff. But this looks good. Looks good.
yeah.
I
No,
like it.
he looks really good. I love
Yep.
the detail that they're putting on there.
Yeah,
The
man.
the neck scar, that's interesting. That's an
Yeah, that's
interesting choice
great.
from Hasbro.
Yes, it is. It is. Makes you wonder, next scar,
Yeah.
hooded Cobra Commander. Is it possible? Oh boy, let's start that
But
conversation again.
there's a lot. I think this Xandar figure uh, is the prize of the wave, so to speak.
Um,
I think he looks great.
okay. Yeah.
Um, I mean, like I said, I'm getting towards the weird stuff. I guess the Dreadnoks are really drawing my attention, and Xandar is one of those figures that, as a character, I like the idea because he was invisible. Nobody could remember him. Even after they met him, they couldn't remember who he was.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes I felt like that,
Yeah.
and he's the brother of Zorana,
And the
and they
and the
have
gun
those two.
the gun with the arrowhead, on the end there, like and forgive me, I'm not a weapons expert, but wasn't that his original gun had that kind of thing? Was that his gun that he came with in the 3 3/4? Didn't it have like that arrowhead on the end of it?
Eh,
If I thought it
yeah, I
did.
don't know. It may
Yeah,
have.
can't remember for sure, but
Yeah.
yeah, 3-star says yeah. Yeah, so that's cool that they kind of, honored that as well. Frostbite loves the detail in the dial tone figure. He also loves Saw Viper.
You still
Uh,
hold on.
yeah.
You still feel that way because nobody can hear you because your mic is so low and you
Oh my gosh. Damn. Ouchies.
to be fair, I almost made that comment on Crows too. I can't figure out what format he's putting his videos in, but they're hard to watch on on a screen sometimes, and then his mic was super low on his
Okay.
latest video too.
Okay. Well, and I know 3 Star was is been playing with one of the lavalier mics that you can kind of wear, and I know Rode has them
Yep.
out, and then I know there's some other brands, and I was looking into those too for being able to do something that's just off desk.
So
And
I would just ask those guys to go back, watch your intros, and then the video. Right, your intros are like 10 times louder than your video, and your intro is set at the normal audio levels that
okay.
most of the stuff is at. So just know that there's a big difference there in the two. So when you jump into the video, it drops down very low compared to what the intro was.
I'll tell you what, I got to tell you, man, especially pre-recorded content, like that volume, like trying to figure out the volume, and like if you insert a meme or like the commercial, I'm almost done with the commercial for Punk, and it does have music in the background, and trying to figure out how loud it should be. It's so like, touchy and tough, and so yeah, it's a process. It's a process dialing it in. What I always heard, no matter what, bottom line is that even if you make a video in 720p or whatever, the audio is by far the most important part of making any video. And a lot of people will just listen. They don't even watch the video, just listen, especially a show like this. They may just listen to it. And so the camera, okay, good. If you can do 4K and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, the audio is what I always heard was the most important thing.
And that's why I recommend that everybody who wants to do this for, an intense hobby or wants to make money off of it or anything like that, you have to get a mixing board.
Yeah, a board,
not a digital one, like a real one.
At the very least, using something like what I have, which is a digital interface that you can plug a XLR mic into, and then you have controls for that, and you can adjust that, and then that runs into your PC. And so XLR mics compared to one that uses just your regular USB power, there is a bigger range there. But
3 Star,
anyway,
I thought the lavalier mic sounded okay. I mean, it didn't sound bad.
I love those.
Yeah.
I love those mics. I know Punk has one. There's a girl called Snarky J that I think is funny as hell, and hers sounds unbelievably fantastic. And she's used a couple different brands, and but Rode is a really good one for sure. And Eric Thurman says just put it on 2x speed, the sound goes up.
I listen to everything on 2x.
Dude, I know you do.
Unless it's live, I'm listening to it on 2x.
You are a madman, let me tell you. And I agree with you.
If you guys watch Yojo Jerk videos, I'm just telling you, if you listen to them on 2x, they are amazing.
Okay, I will test that theory tonight.
Yojo Jerk.
I will. I wanted to say too, Matthew, you were talking about the G.I. Joe movie. I have a recommendation for you, and I think everybody in the chat knows this too. YouTube channel for you, start it out, and then just put the full G.I. Joe 1987 movie on there, and you'll be monetized the next day. You'll have 40,000 views overnight, and you'll be monetized literally the next day. Just put the whole movie on there. Just do that. Anyway, 3-Star too about the boom mic being a pain trying to do reviews. I agree, and I struggled with that Shizor video. The Shizor video, I was like, how am I going to do this?
Say hi?
Doggo time.
You want to say hi?
Panda.
Want to say hi?
Panda.
Panda. Panda. Okay.
But anyway, so anybody doing the videos, man, audio is absolutely crucial. It really, really is. The video portion, people do not care as much. They watch on their phone. It's a small box. A lot of times they're watching in 480p. There a lot of times YouTube will select for you, and you don't even know it unless you check it. So anyway, we got Xandar. Looks good. I didn't want to spend a ton of time. Here's our renders. Heavy duty. Don't like the big thing. I know it's what he came with. I'm not a big fan. This is G.I. Joe that I kind of started dropping out when you had the big missile launchers and the backpacks and all that kind of crazy shit.
Did you ever see
figure looks great?
Dead Poet Society?
Yes.
So you remember the Ethan Hawke character? His parents send him a desk set every year for Christmas, right?
Yes.
And so his buddy got it, and they tossed it over the side, and they, how it flew, and next year it'll be better or whatever. It became a tactical desk set. Well, this is
Yes.
a tactical desk set right here.
Yeah, yeah. It actually really is, isn't it? I mean, look, I like the camo on the pants. I like the figure. I like the head sculpt. I think the
Yeah.
figure looks fantastic. But and I get it why they did this, and it does harken back to the figure, and of course, it is something that he's going to come with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3-star. I agree with you. I mean, you using the metalhead stuff, so you got to reuse stuff, but it doesn't look good. The metalhead stuff doesn't really look good on metalhead.
I'm not crazy about it. Eric Thurman says I've got to
Yeah,
see him in hand. Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
crazy about the metalhead figure. I like the figure, okay, but that contraption is so loosey goosey
yeah.
and
No,
just
it's true.
like
It's way too loose.
it's terrible. And
It just flops all over the place. I had to use
yeah,
sticky tack basically to keep it in position for some photos.
right. I mean, I'm not thrilled with that figure.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens with this guy. Obviously, it looks like this is going to be a situation that's not that.
yeah.
And then you get the little reticule thing, goes around his eye from his headphones, right? So his little targeting system. And Shark Eye says that Bulls logo chain is a nice touch considering his Illinois roots.
Well, and that was another nod to Chris McLeod. He's such a
Yep.
shill. He's got a figure. He's got an accessory named after him, and now he has an accessory made for him.
Yeah, right. I do like it though. I do like the figure quite a bit. And so yeah, we'll see. Obviously, having him in hand, that is crucial. But I don't know. It's once we start getting closer to 1990, that's when I'm going to start kind of maybe dropping out, unless those figures really do entertain me, because I have no personal connection to heavy duty. I have no personal connection to any real figures after 89. Personally, even maybe 88 ish. Law and Order, gotta love it. I'm a huge German Shepherd fan. It's my favorite dog.
I heard some people saying that the German Shepherd looked derpy, and I'm like, it's a digital render. It's not how
Yeah,
it's actually going to look necessarily, but
right.
how is it looking derpy? It already looks
I don't
like,
think
I
so.
think Punk even pointed out, it looks like it has some slightly different legs. So it's
Yeah,
not a complete reuse of the Rottweiler.
right. No, I agree, and I guess maybe it is the legs, because I think the face sculpt is fine, or at least again, digital render. They're usually
Well, and then
pretty close.
the headgear for the dog too. It's
That's
brilliant.
sweet. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So whoever's idea that was, I give them
The
a
only
high
thing that
five.
I
Low five.
wasn't I didn't know if I liked or not, and I don't know, is that his extra hands are the same extra hands that came with Mutt, right? Where else are you going to use those hands except for the dog trainer, because
Yeah,
those are dog
commands
signal
and
hands,
sure.
right? Yeah, but
Right.
if you're going to
Yeah.
throw that many extra hands in there, make sure he's got two fists, just two fists, also, right?
Yeah, that is interesting, right? Because you've got the one, and then you've kind of got this somewhat open fist, open hand. But yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, two fists would come in handy. Love the submachine gun here. The
The
cuffs and everything.
handcuffs,
Yeah, I
those are
dig it.
Chuckles handcuffs.
Yeah. No, I like it, and I always like Law and Order.
Yep.
Mutt and Junkyard were my favorites, but I always did like this figure too.
Yeah.
Loved using him. He was fun. Fist 2 Palm. Uh yeah, actually that makes sense too, right? Doing a fist to palm kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know that that's a command per se. And no, Rottweilers are not greater than German Shepherd dogs. Let's not kid ourselves here. What kind of crack are you smoking tonight, 3-star? um, let's see. I'm just messing with it. Anyway, so yeah, Pulsecon, they had like I said, the Dungeons and Dragons. They had just
Dungeons and
really to
Dragons
me just
magic. There's a lot of missteps that they made with the Pulsecon presentation.
right.
I think I've heard people that even despise Emily's, almost miss Emily, because what she brings to the Joe panel at least is energetic, it's magnetic, it's engaging. And
Uh,
just having Lenny and the boys up there just isn't quite the same. I mean,
well,
Lenny can
let's.
be engaging if you let him, but you pair him with some other guys and it just doesn't work.
Well, I'm going to say that I don't think we're going to see her at all anymore.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I mean,
She's MIA, man.
I knew that when she shut down her social media accounts to focus on SDCC, we were never going to see her again. I
Well,
mean,
we all, yeah, but
I
we all
mean,
thought that
it'll be
we bought
sprinkled in here and
that,
there. Yeah,
but this could go even further up the chain.
yeah.
I mean, we don't know, but it's okay. Well,
Well,
she's focusing on SDCC. Okay, great. We haven't heard a peep, and
so
that's
I don't know if they're listening to the division and the fans over her presence,
I guarantee you they are.
or if it's just the fact that she's managing so many brands that she's got to she's working on so many projects that she actually is so busy that she can't do it.
Yeah, I
I
don't
would
know.
hope that I know they don't want that much division in the fan base. It's
No, of
always going to
course
be
not.
there, but
Yeah, it will be.
at the same time, it's like I don't know.
You know,
There was a chemistry there that was really nice. So
yeah. I feel like that's a decision that came from up top, and I don't think that
yeah,
that group you see doing the thing the other day at Pulsecon, that group is not done yet. It's going to
no,
change.
yeah,
Real quick, based off of what we were talking about last week with I did see this article on Bounding into Comics about the Hasbro CEO confirming generative AI to play a heavy role in future of Dungeons and Dragons. Says the technology's popularity is a clear signal that we need to be embracing it. So from that randomness, from that ability to craft Dungeons and Dragons quests or whatever, looks like Hasbro is going to try to go all in on that. Um, and I thought that was interesting. I mean, this is the kind of usage for AI that I think I'm down with, if that makes sense. Creating quests and random things or whatever. I think that could be fun with something like
the more we
a
let
a
machines
game like
think
that.
for us, the more our brains degrade, and we're just going to be slaves of the machine even more so.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you there, and I don't play D&D, but I think we were talking about artwork and music and all that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying from a uh, storytelling standpoint where um, that could be used, in that way.
yeah.
I could see that.
Absolutely, but the brain development that comes along with the creative process of creating those things yourself is kind of the point, I thought, of Dungeons and Dragons, to
Yeah,
engage your brain in a creative fashion, to come up with stories and universes and worlds and adventures, and you're creating all these things yourself and you want them to be as cool as possible, so you keep working on it harder and harder to make them better and better. And you want the best one right away, so you just tell a machine to do it for you, and then it's done, and then you have a good time, and you continue down that road. I don't know. It
I
takes
guess
away the magic of it.
I guess in my mind, I'm wondering, is this something where they're feeding the ideas, right? Like humans are actually feeding the ideas or feeding the story ideas.
Yeah.
And then the AI is able to take that and then you can have more you know, you could the possibilities are limitless with how many different scenarios you could have, right? Like, yes, you could think of those, but on the same token, you could have countless different scenarios that are able to be done with AI. I think that's kind of what they want to,
Yeah.
go with it for. Character development, story ideas. Um, I know, yes, I'm with you. The more that you start relying on machines to do work for you, yes, you're going to lose skills. Obviously, you're not going to need to hire people to do those things, right? Create
That's all Hasbro
lore.
cares about, right? Hiring less people,
Well,
paying them less.
absolutely. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Right
Yeah.
now that is something that is a big deal. They've lost a lot of money, so figuring out who not to have to pay, that could be part of it. I wouldn't say
Yep.
that's all of it, but Jay Astro is
What's up,
here
bud?
stopping by. What's up, buddy? Always a pleasure. Um, but yeah, I just happened to see that, and based off of what we were talking about last week, I just thought that was interesting that I kind of came across that story. So Pulsecon, y'all can tell us in the chat if you want to. Were you guys satisfied, Matthew? Were you satisfied? I mean, there wasn't a lot there, really.
Well, I mean, for GI Joe, there wasn't a lot there, and they forgot to do some things like release there's renders until after the
Yeah,
show.
man.
There's a lot of mistakes that happened, and that's what happens with the live show. But the Marvel Legends one, they had some interesting stuff. The Star Wars one had some interesting. Everybody had a little bit of interesting things. The sheer volume of stuff that's still coming out is just amazing to me. But the Captain America that's coming out from the Secret Wars.
Right.
I still have my original Secret Wars Captain America. Love that dude. I love the idea of the broken shield. And what's funny is the guy who sculpted that, it was like, hey, I sculpted these, 5 years ago for the 20th anniversary Toy Biz Captain America that they released a couple years ago. And they're just now releasing these head sculpts that I did back then. And that's the only reason that why I would want that figure is for that broken shield and those head sculpts that I can put on my comic book accurate Captain America.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the GI Joe segment was extremely rushed at
Yeah.
PulseCon, and they even kind of mentioned, "Oh, we actually are on time this time," and I'm like,
Yeah, they were on
Hasbro
time
should
because
not
they forgot the digital renders.
right, but at the same time, I don't think Hasbro just needs to worry about putting some kind of freaking time limit. I know you've got a show to run, but
Yeah.
give the information, let your people use their personality, have fun. It's like I just felt like they just blew through the information with a quickness. The pictures were not great. They showed this superimposed image over the back shoulder or whatever of most of the pictures. And I didn't think they did a proper reveal. And then after the fact, like you said, of revealing stuff, I don't know. I think they need to take a little more time. Let people enjoy it. They're there to watch. Nobody's going to leave because the GI Joe guys go 6 minutes or 7 minutes over.
Right.
And I agree with you, 3-star, about spending way too much time talking about the game. Yes, that game is still a demo. It'll be out when it's out. There's not much to really go on right now. You know what kind of game it is, so there's not a lot that you really needed to discuss.
Well,
I get the publicity, but
and Adam, did you hear the story about Terrificon and BMAC?
what happened?
So Bobby Valla and his crew went out to Jordan Steakhouse, and Ryan Laserpants is looking over and says, "Who's that guy? I mean, that guy's like dogging me, like staring hard, like wanting to
Oh
fight me."
wow.
And it's BMAC because Emily was there with BMAC, and they were there meeting with another group of people, which Bobby didn't want to mention to mess up any of their stuff. But
Okay.
but they started. He was trying to like bow up to Laser Pants from across the restaurant because he knew
Oh,
him right
come on.
away. Seriously. And so Bobby bought him a round of drinks, and then they sent a round back to them. So they had this
Back
quaint
and
little
forth. Yeah.
interaction at Terrificon.
Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. Man, I don't know. I won't say much. I just
And I mean, it's not.
yeah.
I mean, think what you want, guys, but that's the deets of the interaction. It was interesting.
It's just one of those things. I don't know. It's just sometimes every time you turn around and you hear a name and this happens in my life, just personal life. It's happened to all of us. And then there's always some kind of drama around that for some reason or another.
Yeah.
right? Like, you know, I don't know. And 3 Star says, I wonder how much of that story is true. If there's enough people around, then people report it or talk about it, or those involved talk about it, and that's never
I,
unusual.
I mean, it could have been as simple as BMAC was trying to figure out if that was Laser Pants and Bobby, or if he was actually,
Right.
what are you doing here? What are you doing? And
I just can't even, man. That's so weird to me. And Ronnie
what's up,
Aaron
Ronnie?
trick shot in the house. Good day to you, legend. It's good to be tuned into the stream while I couldn't sleep. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, man. Thanks for cruising in. So yeah, I don't know, man. Pulsecon, it was what it was. It didn't really live up to the hype for me.
My biggest problem is the fact that we just got done with SDCC. You've got Pulsecon, and then you're going to have 1027, and it's like every month you've got
Yeah,
some other convention thing. And
yeah,
I mean, that's great if you've got that stuff coming up, but you know, slow your roll a little bit. Remember what happened last year and what kind of backlash you guys got for last
right.
year. And that wasn't totally their fault. It was distribution, it was logistics, it was a whole other problem going on. But at the same time, if you dump a whole bunch of crap on people at the end of the year every year, it's going to get old fast. And I know why you do it, because it's a corporate decision, because it's fourth quarter and you got to make the end of the year budgets.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and it sucks for everybody. But
Yeah, that's true. Um, Time is of the essence right now. That's for sure. Holiday season coming up. Um, And so, yeah, judging by the chat, everybody said, well, maybe it was true. Everybody, Shark Guy is definitely thinking it's true there. Um, yeah, look, it stirs the pot, doesn't it?
yeah.
It
And
keeps
he was
people
so proud of
sane.
himself for being the better man, for sending a round of drinks to them. And then they sent some back.
Right,
And so that, but he's still the better man because he did it first.
right. Yeah,
I mean, take that for whatever you want.
Yeah, right. And I agree with you. 3 Star from now to the middle of November is going to hit us hard right before
Yeah.
Christmas. I agree. And of course, for those of you that don't know, I woke up yesterday morning, Monday morning, to a couple messages that at 5:17 I got charged for the NFL Sunday ticket to a tune of $491.65 that I did not plan on doing.
Oh yeah, well you got the
I
NFL
forgot to.
ticket, but it
I
doesn't get you
forgot
all
to
the games because you don't have the ESPN app and you don't have the FX
Well,
app,
I
and
do. Yeah. I actually do, and I have Paramount, and I have all the other shit, so I can watch every fucking game. But I did not plan on keeping it. I bought half a season last year, and it is on an auto renewal, and I did not
apparently.
cancel. And I'm going to tell you guys something: a $500 once a year auto renewal is really
Oh,
easy. You say, okay, it's $500. It's easy to forget about. We have
yep.
monthly charges, auto renewal. That shit goes every month. Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever it is, your cell phone bill, auto
Yep.
renewal, auto payment, right? Once a year, $491 is a extreme amount of money to just go, well, if you don't cancel it, right? Just cancel your subscription. So yeah, I contacted YouTube, non-refundable. Is non-refundable, and I get no discount, nothing. And now, and
So
I
if
didn't
you
have
cancel
access
it
the first
now,
2 weeks.
if you cancel it now,
The
do
auto
you still
renewal will not go through next
the
year.
auto
Yes.
renewal won't go through
And I
next year,
still
but
have
you'll
it
still
for the
get
whole
this year.
season. The whole
Yeah.
season. Yes.
Yeah.
It just doesn't go through. But man, oh man, oh man, I was not really prepared for that. Doesn't mean that I can't get it.
Yeah.
It's just I wasn't ready for that. So, you
Yeah.
think now through November, with figures coming and shipping and Christmas coming up.
Well, there's a little rumor going around that next Friday there's going to be another Mythic Legions figure obscura coming out. So just,
Okay.
keep that in mind.
All right. All right. Well, I will, and that may be something we need to talk about then. But yeah, no, I definitely was caught off guard with that, and then it was non-refundable, and I went through the terms and conditions and all that shit. And I was like, they got me.
Yep.
They got me. There's a lawsuit going on right now with the NFL over just that very thing.
Yep.
Absolutely, right now. And Ronnie Trickshot says, "Pop, you need to watch some Aussie Rules." Back when ESPN was a young company and it was the only thing on overnight, I used to watch the crap out of Aussie Rules football, and I mean a bunch of it on ESPN late night. And I haven't watched in years, but Aussie Rules football is fun, man. I enjoy it. I know you play too, Ronnie. Um, and 3-star, yeah, they get you with the auto renewal for sure. And it is next year before you realize you're fucked. And I was. And sandpaper, I think. I did want to show you guys this story real quick. Now, this is not the normal thing we cover, and I'm not going to really spend any time on it. But hey, P. Diddy was arrested. Finally got that son of a bitch. Been hiding out of the country, and they finally got him, and they denied him his $50 million bond. They said he was a flight risk, and I 100% believe that. So he's going to
Yeah, no
spend
kidding. Of
he's going
course
to
he's a
spend
flight
the
risk.
whole time in prison until he goes to trial for. Look it up. I'm not going to go through it. You guys go
Yep.
through the story. It's one nasty dude going back decades, involved in a lot of stuff. Some people even say he was involved with the Biggie Tupac shootings.
Yeah.
They do. And yes, 3-star, I bet he is shaking his tail feather right now. No,
Ooh.
I guarantee you he is in protective special
Yes.
custody in the prison.
Yes.
No one will get to him.
Yeah.
Not even close to him.
Yeah.
That's just the way that is with stars in particular. But I did want to bring that up because that story. I did want to bring another story up, Matthew, and I thought this was fascinating. And again, it's not movies, it's not TV, but we pop culture, we go through a little bit of everything. Did you guys hear this story? And I asked you too, Matthew, if you saw this. I didn't know about this till today. Did you hear about this pager story about,
Yes.
the Israelis and Hamas and the fact that thousands of people were injured and 9 people unalived because somehow, evidently, these pagers were hacked and the batteries got really, really hot. And these things exploded in people's pockets, in their hands, in their purses. This is absolutely crazy. And there is video. There's
Yep.
video of a guy shopping for groceries and he has a bag and it just explodes and he like goes to the ground. This was nuts, like thousands of people. And I
Yep.
find that fascinating that if this is indeed a hack attack, and I don't even know how you do that with a pager. Like how would you do that?
Now, I mean, I haven't had a pager since the 90s. So
Me neither.
I mean, who's carrying around a pager?
So it
But
says back in February that Hamas group leaders
yeah.
ordered members in February to stop using cell phones, warning they can be tracked by Israeli intelligence. And so they gave out pagers
Yeah.
instead, and they said they're brand new. But that's fascinating. It says 3:30 p.m. local time on Tuesday, people shopping for groceries, driving cars, motorcycles. The pagers in their hands started heating up and then exploding, leaving blood-spattered scenes and panicked bystanders. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine at the same time thousands of these things going off. I
I
mean,
mean,
that is
just think about
insane to me.
how a pager works, right? Yeah, I mean, you send it a signal and then it supposedly reports a phone number, right? Or
Right,
leaves a voicemail or whatever their pagers are doing these days. Um, but it's sending a signal to program the device to respond to you. So if
right.
you send a signal to program the device to overload the battery,
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Watch this. This guy's shopping for groceries. He's got the blue hat on, I believe, with the bag right there. You guys check this out. Look at that. Do you see that? Look at his bag just
wow.
blow. Check this out. Holy
Oh,
moly. Can you imagine? And I mean, dude, you don't know that's about to happen. You can't brace for impact, right? Like that is insane. Right here.
yeah, that
Holy
poor worker there. He's just trying to sell some vegetables.
Right? I mean,
and he looks like he took the brunt of it in his gut.
yeah, that is just, that video alone. But look, I mean, look at this. Look at the damage to the windshield. Look at the car.
Ugh.
That is man, oh man. I mean, that is next level, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That is,
it's nuts.
No one in their right mind would even think of that, right? Like, you would never think of something like that happening. And Clint Jorgensen is here. Unreal on the pagers. Can that happen to our iPhones? What's going on? Ronnie says it is supply chain sabotage.
Well, our supply chain has been being sabotaged for at least the last 3 years.
Sure. You have warehouses and food factories,
dairy plants, and meat processing plants, and yeah,
absolutely. And listen, we're not going to turn this into a political show by no means, but there is a lot of shit afoot.
Dogs and cats eating each other all over the country.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. Todd C, what is going on? Said, what we looking at? Well, just to tell you about, I don't know if Todd, if you'd heard the story, but the latest thing between the Israelis and Hamas is that somehow a bunch of pagers exploded, thousands of people injured, 9 people unalived, and due to pagers that some of the Hamas folk had, and they were supposedly hacked, and they exploded in people's hands, exploded in people's bags. Just
crazy.
Golly, man. I mean, really, really, really. And then
all right, next up, we talked about a song that became a TV show.
Yeah, see, dude, I love that. Thank you for the segue, because that was absolutely 100% next on my list. I want to go over some video with you, Matthew.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I want to go over some video with you. And we are going to listen to, let's see here. Why?
Oh no, you pulled that clip? Oh man.
Oh yeah. Yes, I did. Now I want to make sure that this is not playing out of my speakers.
It sounded like it was playing out of your speakers.
It is, and I'm not exactly sure why. So let me copy that.
Full moon difficulties.
Yeah, it is odd, but sometimes and that's actually unusual, to be honest with you. That does not actually happen. So I'm trying to figure out why. So let me share this screen with you guys, and I want y'all to listen to.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
it's been described to me that Agatha is the gayest project Marvel has ever done. Agree?
I would agree.
Yeah. That's echoing pretty good.
You'll see.
Yeah, it's
but I mean the way he says it, it is absolutely positively clear that this is a setup, right? I mean,
absolutely.
I mean the language, the vocalizations that were used in there, and they are totally tripling down on the failure of the Acolyte, and they're trying to rub it in everybody's face because everybody's going to watch the next Marvel project, right? Well, no, they're not, because it's not a movie, and nobody cares about it because it's not a movie and it's not connected to anything, because none of your TV shows have ever been connected to anything. Not in reality, only tangentially have they ever been connected to anything that's happened. And it's like, oh no, you got to watch the TV show to get up some what's coming up to the next movie. Well, that's too much stuff. The average person isn't going to do it. The super nerd isn't going to do it because they're sick and tired of this bullshit. And if you are telling me that the show is super gay, but you tell me nothing about the show, why would I watch the show? Because you're pandering to an entire demographic who doesn't even watch your programming.
That's exactly right. And what's fascinating to me is that every interview you see on the red carpet, now the host And for whatever reason, it's not playing through the speakers, and I really don't know why, because this is all set up for that specifically. Yeah, the host from Variety asks the people on the red carpet, the rumor is this is the gayest Marvel.
No. The gayest show.
Yeah, okay, yeah, my bad. Yeah, he goes really just.
It's been just.
Yeah, I don't know why this isn't coming through. This is really actually making me pretty mad. So yeah, he asks each actor in the show basically about this being the gayest Marvel show, and all of the
Unfortunately,
answers.
nobody uses it that way any longer. That word has been
Yeah,
completely appropriated and
yes,
no longer means
no,
what it initially meant.
no. It means what he wants it to mean,
Yep.
and the actors take the bait.
Yep.
And then it's a matter of word salad from them. It
Well,
becomes
I mean, if you listen to her response, it is a totally vapid, I agree with you, nothing burger response that means nothing, that isn't even coherent.
right.
And so it doesn't matter what she says, because the feeling is that she agreed with him in that premise. Now, I mean, you saw the Inside Out 2 stuff, right?
Yes.
So the people from Inside Out 2 came out and said, well, we had to pull back and tone down and kind of push back all of this, gay agenda stuff, because we wanted to make sure that we appealed to the Christians and the 98% of your audience base.
Right.
And that's why it's the most successful Disney movie that's been put out in the last several years, right? I mean,
Yep.
It's the most successful movie of the year next to Deadpool. Well, actually, it's better than Deadpool Wolverine still. So, you pull back on this stuff and you make a movie that's for everyone will go see it. But if you
Yep.
tell everyone that it's not for everyone,
100%.
not everyone is going to see it. And the people that you're targeting to see it aren't likely to see it either. Not many of them.
No, it's so this show, Agatha All Along, is a character from the WandaVision show, and they had the little theme song in the middle of the show where it was Agatha All Along, and she was the one that was, supposedly the one in control. We find out she actually was not. Now, this same person has done interviews with the Acolyte actors as well. He asked the same question. So he goes out of his way to bring the fact up, this is the gayest Star Wars ever. They took the bait. You got a million sound bites out of it. This is the same thing.
Yep.
And then you also have a character in the show who has gone out of his way, an actor, to say that his character is a gay character, and he thinks that there's never been a place in Marvel for characters like his character, and it's all about representation and all that. And each actor that he asked this question to, it's just a bunch of word salad.
Yeah.
And you know what you don't get, Matthew? You don't
What's
get
the show about?
Exactly. You said it earlier. You get nothing about the character and anything about them other than that. You get nothing. They don't tell you anything that would make you excited to watch this show.
Nope.
And when you're playing to a fan base that already does not show up to watch your products, then why? Like, why? And so I was listening to the Real BBC today. Gary was talking about it, that like this is the response to the whole Acolyte controversy.
Yeah.
And in a way, this is the actors just going rogue, and Variety just saying to hell with everybody, and we're just going to continue to beat this drum.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it because I'm going to report on it. And if this is kind of the main theme of the show, or no, it's not going to be the main theme of the show, but if it becomes an overriding factor, then yeah, it's going to be real easy to tune out. It really is. Ronnie, take it
Good night,
easy,
Ronnie.
buddy.
Thanks for coming by.
Go get that meeting. I will try to reach you on your pager, but I do not want you to explode in the middle of your meeting. So I will refrain from paging you, my friend. And get ready for that Y2K party we're having next week. So yeah, no. I just don't understand why this continues to be a thing.
I don't understand why anyone would allow marketing that is exclusionary. They promote it as
Absolutely
inclusionary, but it is exclusionary because they're going out and telling people this isn't for you. Every 5 minutes they say, well, this wasn't made for you. If you don't like my politics, don't watch my show. You get that stuff, and it's like these people are dumb. I want everybody to watch my show. I want the people who hate me to come and watch my show because of how engaging and entertaining it is. And I want them to interact in the chat and tell me what a piece of crap I am so I can engage with them and see how they respond to it, right? I can take criticism. Can you? Apparently not, because you only go into your incel group of people that are echoing everything back to you, right? I mean, I can take criticism. I encourage it. If there's something I can do about it, I'm going to change it. If there's something I can't do about it, then I'm going to tell you there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
But here's the thing, man. Like, and this is why I think these people have been programmed from their assistants and their personal circle of people to regurgitate. Like, I mean, it's like reading a cue card, man. It's like the same thing every time we get one of these red carpet, every time we get one of these special little interviews, sit down interviews. It's the same thing, and it's literally just regurgitating the same phrase over and over, and they never tell you about the show.
They never tell you how good it was, how much fun it was to work on it.
The character is going to endure this. They're going to go through a lot of changes, and you guys are going to be.
It's going to be really engaging. It's funny. It's exciting.
None of that.
Nothing.
And so if I'm an executive at Disney, or really any of these movie companies, I want them to do the Rachel Zegler treatment, which is shut the hell up and shut your mouth. Don't say another word about Snow White being an outdated concept from the 30s or something, and that she's a strong woman who don't need no man.
But she had to open her mouth when the new trailer came out.
She did, but it's like, look, man, promote the show. We don't need to promote this. Obviously, it's not working.
Yeah,
but they continue to do it, and if I was
promoting division.
If I was a shareholder, I'd be losing my mind right now at this.
There's a lot of shareholders that are, and many of them have sold all their stock, and more of them feel like they're not being heard in the investor calls. They're not being heard when these questions are brought up, so they're bailing on Disney stock. Disney stock is tanking right now.
It's this show is going to be terrible. Acolyte got the fewest viewers of any Star Wars show.
Now, to be fair, that the WandaVision trilogy will be complete with another show that's about Vision.
Yes.
And that show is supposed to be about a superhero named Vision and how he goes to transition from the white Vision to the Vision that we all know, the comic book version at the end. And it is a superhero story about his journey that is supposed to be the part 3. But honestly,
what's going to happen.
That show's going to get scrapped or reappropriated to something else, unless they really are making the changes that some people say are happening behind the scenes, because this Agatha show was filmed like 2 years ago.
Yeah, this show's it's been done for a while.
Right. So they're releasing old stuff because they can't do anything else with it. And, Gary brought up today, it's the same thing that Warner Brothers had to go through in the transition to James Gunn.
Right.
Right. And so they have all these projects that are still out there that were completed that they have to figure out what they're going to do with. And Marvel is the same way. You've got this Falcon movie that's coming out, and it's got 3 different versions. They have filmed 3 completely different movies at this point because they keep trying to change it to adapt to what they think the audience wants, but they've never actually listened to what the audience wants.
Right.
So I don't know.
No, and you know, I don't even know right now. I haven't seen any of the predictors per se for the new Falcons / Captain America, whatever. I don't know. As we get closer to that, and that's going to be a little bit. As we get closer to that, we'll talk about that. Bottom line is if you're able to get to the Vision series, don't you think somehow that he's going to play second fiddle in his own show to a female character or another character?
If we made it in the recent past, I would say yes. If we're making it in this high pressure where the stockholders are actually holding Disney's feet to the fire on some of these things, and they're starting to see this isn't working. This hasn't been working. We've lost $8 billion.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
We need to do something else.
It's unbelievable. And they're not the only ones.
No,
I mean, you just go across the board, and video game companies, other movie companies. I mean, it doesn't matter. Go across the board. This has not worked. They all bought in lock, stock, and barrel, and it is not working. It doesn't sell tickets. It doesn't sell advertising. It doesn't sell anything.
No, they were bribed, and they were given money to make changes to something that they're like, oh, well, the fan base is just going to eat this up anyway because it's product with product name, and they're going to buy product with name. And fortunately, people don't like eating shit sandwiches forever, right? They may take a couple, but eventually they're going to stop eating the shit sandwiches.
Absolutely. I mean, no, it's true, because once the jig is up, and people figure it out, and it doesn't take people long. Now, in the current climate, whether that's politically, whether that's just whatever, is that maybe people have given it a longer leash than they used to, right? Maybe they say, okay, well, I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to like it. You know, I don't go into a show hoping it's bad. I don't go into a show thinking it's going to suck. I go into a show hoping it's going to be good. But unfortunately, so often it ends up being what I probably thought it was going to be. Well, but I at least will give it an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, people like you and me, we're coming at it from a different perspective. We're coming from it from the perspective of we have a ton of evidence to show you that this has been the trend for the last 8 years. For the last 8 years, it has been a known trend that this is what's happening. And we know that these people, if you follow the lineage of what these people have done, these producers, these directors, the people behind the scenes, and what they have contributed to, you build a picture. And it's like, it's so obvious when you look at it and you think about it and you track it back and you see it happening everywhere. It has permeated everything. And honestly, that's, go read 1984, go read Fahrenheit 451. All of this was laid out, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
I guess my thing is like what industry, when you have 8 or 9 or 10 years worth of data, right? Professional sports, you have that much data that something's not working, you would make a change, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what industry it is, right? It's like, if you have the data in front of you, you see the numbers, anybody that's in a position of power should understand that doesn't work, and it's all about capitalism. It doesn't matter.
Well, so here's exactly, but here's the problem. Here's the problem is that the communists have been infiltrating Hollywood since the 1920s, 30s, right? So they've been working their way in, they've been spewing their propaganda, and now you get these people that think their message is more important than making a profit. Okay, that's your deal. You want to be an auteur, you want to go do that, go do that.
Yep.
But Hollywood, up until the recent time frame, has been a profit-making organization. And in the last 8 years, they've still been able to make profits because the government funded it. They got government money to do this. They got money from these other corporations that said, if you do this, we will pay you extra money. And they thought that would compensate the losses that they would have,
for the
or
short
potential
term,
losses
for the
short
short
term.
Right.
Right. And so they short shirt everything, which is illegal, but whatever, that's a whole other thing. And they make their money, or they try to make their money, but quite literally they're losing billions of dollars, and it's finally caught up to them where they can't hide it anymore. I mean, it all comes down to Disney firing Bob Chapek. I mean, the whole story behind them firing Bob Chapek proves to you what was going on, because a financial report came out on a Friday, and it was going to be put on Bob Iger's desk in the afternoon, but he wasn't going to be there because it was the end of the day and he was already gone. So he wasn't going to get a chance to look at it. So Bob Chapek was going to read this report on Monday morning. Bob Iger came in, and the CFO said, hey, this report just came out. They got together, colluded with the board of directors on Saturday, all day Saturday, and then on Sunday at an Elton John concert, they fired Bob Chapek so he would never see that report. And that Bob Iger came in on Monday morning and took the report and threw it in the shredder so nobody would see it, because it proves the illegal actions that Disney took to continue to pad their books so it looked like they were making money for the shareholders, when in fact they lost $8 billion.
Yes. And are in the middle of a lawsuit with Gina Carano at this point now,
among other things. And then they can blame it all on Chapek and say that he did all this and it wasn't us. But we all know that Iger was in control the whole time, because he never gave up his office. He never gave up his office. He never gave up his suite. He said, no, Chapek, you're going to go to that office over there. This is my office.
Yeah. And I have not, I mean, I got, firsthand knowledge from somebody who spent 23 years at Disney and worked directly with and under Bob Chapek and even Iger. And so, yes, no, the office stories that you have heard are correct. I did want to bring this up too. Rayface said, just subbed to Disney Plus today. My 3-year-old daughter wants to see the Disney princess movies. Look, absolutely.
I love the gummy bears, man. The gummy bears are on there.
Look, there's a lot of good stuff on there, Ray. Now, there's people out there that get creative. They find this stuff without subbing to it.
Bluey is the most watched thing on Disney Plus.
Right.
Period.
And I'm not going to be telling people like that kind of other way. Like, you sub to it if you want to. It is what it is. When you got kids, man, there's a lot of things that you need to do, you have to do. But and especially when it comes to like the Disney princesses, I think there's a wholesome part to it, and the spirit of it initially that was was what I think we all want or wanted, and everything out of the Disney princesses and all that stuff. There is an agenda now. There are warnings in front of some of these shows and cartoons now. There are trigger warnings and other warnings that show depictions of people from years ago that we don't really agree with now, and all that kind of stuff. I find that stuff very strange and odd, and you're just doing that.
Just watch the movie, make your own decisions, do your own parental discretion. Right? It's the parents' responsibility to educate their children on what is right and wrong.
But I think all that stuff. A 3-year-old, and a lot of those shows are going to be fine. But definitely do your diligence.
Yes,
with some of the programs on Disney Plus.
Do not let your children watch Turning Red until after you've watched it. If you understand the undertones,
just do your diligence. Just look up the show, read about it, and just see if there's anything in there, because there are some shows that are pushing current day agenda on young children that should not be taught right now. Yeah. And so
now Clint, I do want to address this. Bob Iger wants that to happen. It will never happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
Especially not with what has already been put out there about the scandal that I just talked about, much less the many more dead bodies that are behind the scenes.
Well,
that woman with the allergic reaction, that medical doctor, but there's a whole bunch of stuff to go with that.
There's a lot of things going on with that side of things right now that I don't think he'd ever sniff.
Bob Iger would love to run for office.
Absolutely.
He won't ever be able to,
No.
because of all of the stuff that has already been revealed.
When you have a candidate that doesn't even get voted on by her party to take the nomination, then you know there are some strange things afoot in politics. Okay.
Yep.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, no. Yes, I agree. 3-star. Just don't let any children watch shows about lesbian witches just yet. Paw Patrol, very popular show. My son watched it, loved it. Tangled, Gargoyles, good stuff.
Oh yeah, Paw Patrol is Nickelodeon, though, so that is Disney.
Nickelodeon. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, that is a good show. But you're right, it is Nickelodeon.
Paw Patrol's been great. But my daughter loves Bluey, and I don't know if any of you guys have kids. Bluey is the show to watch because it's a total family values show. Yeah, the dad gets beat up, but the dad gets beat up as a dad way, right? He's standing up for everybody. He's doing the dad thing. You've got a mom and a dad who love each other with 2 little girls that they're trying to raise and teach them valuable lessons along the way. Yeah. And that show is the most viewed thing on Disney Plus because it's the one thing that parents can go to and say, okay, this isn't going to have any nonsense in it. This is just about kids and the things that kids do. And if you have dogs or if you have kids, then you know the stuff that these dog children are going to go through in this show. And it's entertaining and funny. And they're actually really good shows.
So let me ask you, and even in the chat too, you guys, think about this, right? Because this is stuff that we talk about, stuff I talk about on Friday nights and get a little deeper into it. And as we get closer to election season, Friday nights might get a little deeper. Okay. I've been very light and very easygoing, but there's some topics and some things I want to cover. And that's not always fun for everybody, but nonetheless, my point is, okay, go back to G.I. Joe cartoons in the 80s. Now, yes, it's a way to sell toys. Yes, Reagan relaxed a lot of the rules when it came to, marketing to kids and all that kind of stuff. But if you think about those cartoons, other than a, let's say, pro-patriotic message, I guess, was there any messaging in that show that was like, hate the USSR? You know what I'm saying? Like, was there, other than, it was a cartoon for kids and it says Cobra is a terrorist organization, blah, blah, blah. But it didn't depict terrorists as what your classic mindset of what a terrorist would be, even at that time or this time. Yep. So from an agenda perspective, and I look back at cartoons in that time frame, that's not how they were made. Did they push toys, sell toys? Yes. But the way
that's all they cared about.
Right. But the way that a lot of these shows are being made now, they're pushing political and social agendas that children do not need to learn about at that age.
I will say that G.I. Joe did some things very subtly in the guise of progressive agendas. And some more overt, but most of them were very subtle. In G.I. Joe, it was about good versus evil.
Yeah.
In current day, some people don't want you to believe that there is good and evil, that everything is gray, everything's the same, everything has a reason, everything has a rationale. No, children need to understand there is good and there is evil. There is one thing and then the other. As we grow as adults and develop the rational thought centers of our brain that don't develop into our mid to late 20s, depending on if you're male or female, females develop them earlier. The rational centers of the brain don't develop until later in life. So you have to make things black and white for children to understand boundaries, to understand where you don't go beyond.
Right.
And if you gray everything out and you try to push that on the children to gray everything out, then they're not going to know what the fuck to believe. And they're going to be malleable, manipulated into believing anything that anyone tells them, because anything could be true at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do agree with that to an extent. Yes. If that there is a reason why there are boundaries and clear cut thing, teaching children, right and wrong. And if you flip all that on its head, then you're going to create kids with a lot of issues as they get
Yes.
older. And a lot
Yep.
of those issues start at a younger age, even.
Yep.
They and start questioning things, and their minds are not capable
That's right.
of rationalizing and understanding those thoughts.
Yep.
And so it's a weird space. Look, everybody parent their kids how they want to parent their kids, right?
Yep.
But there's a really weird number of people out there that think that a 7 or 8-year-old should be able to decide for themselves certain adult things that their minds cannot wrap itself around.
Yep.
And that's where
and the full ramifications of those decisions.
Yes. And that's why, like Wraith, saying about just be aware of some of those Disney shows, do your research. Most of them, especially the ones made years ago, are great.
Yeah.
And great for kids. But this newer stuff, man, that's being made with an agenda, you need to research it and make sure your kid is not watching something and being fed an agenda.
I will say back to G.I. Joe just for a second.
Jay Gonzo, what's going
up,
on?
Man?
How you doing?
The writers of the original show, whether they're looking back at it retrospectively differently than they did back in the day, or whether they actually intended this, but they are out there saying that they definitively wrote Wetsuit and Leatherneck as a gay couple.
I mean, okay. Like, yeah.
As a kid, you wouldn't pick up on that necessarily, right? But at the same time, looking back on it, you can kind of see that. And so that's a subtle way to do some of those things, right?
Yeah. I mean, but now that would be completely over the top.
Mm-hmm.
There's no subtlety, and there's no nuance. It's just being beat over the head with a hammer. And Eric Thurman says those 80s toys pushed R-rated movies, toys from R-rated movies. Yeah, but a lot of times when they would take something from an R-rated movie or PG-13, they would totally neuter it and make it like totally kiddie-like and not with the same themes and situations. I mean, hell, they had a Beetlejuice cartoon, and he was a good guy. He it wasn't nasty and all that. He was, so yeah, I could see that definitely, but yeah, I say Clint Jorgensen gonna research the Uncle Remus stories. I had Song of the South years ago on like VHS. I don't know where the hell it went.
And that family will never see royalties from that man's story, because that was a man from the South, a black man from the South story that he sold to Disney and made royalties off of for as long as they produced it. And now that they're not producing it and they're trying to deny its entire existence, his family does not receive that revenue any longer.
Yeah. No, and well, this is also a company that for some reason never would ever recognize James Earl Jones' birthday, but they'd make a big deal and go out of their way to make sure they recognize all their minority characters' birthdays, people that played characters, but they never would recognize James Earl Jones' birthday.
Oh, you're right. They never did they?
Nope. And
they also don't pay their writers, the writers of books.
That's true too. Yeah, Jay Gonzo, real quick. Yeah, in California, by a school up north that only has gender neutral bathrooms, boys and girls using the same bathrooms. Yeah, you seeing that around the country. I think you've got a lot of pushback on that. We're not going to get into it, but yeah, no, there's a lot of common sense coming back around, and hopefully, maybe in November we'll see some more of that come back around.
We shall see.
So to top this all off, since I got your undivided attention, there is a movie out, a mockumentary, so to speak, if you want to. I don't know if you guys know who Matt Walsh is. Matt Walsh is a Daily Wire, friend of the Daily Wire, I guess you could say.
Guy who has really bad takes on pop culture.
Bad takes on pop culture, but he did make a movie called What is a Woman, and he went around the country asking people, because trying to, find out about the biological, right? How do people define a woman? Is it just what you say you're a woman now, or is it biological? Is it and some would call it controversial. I would call it an interesting and valid question. But he has a new movie out. And let's see if I can pull this up. I'm gonna pull it up by the numbers, but then also I'm gonna pull up a couple screenshots. So he dresses up, puts on a fake man bun, and basically goes around to what we like to call race hustlers. Race hustlers in this world now are people that continue to not only pretend and act as if the country is really divided, but they fully embrace dividing the country and off the basis of race, and they make money off of it. In this mockumentary, and I'm going to go see it tomorrow, actually. I can't wait. It is a comedy. This is a comedy. Every review, it has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, the disguise, Eric, on the front, when you actually see the disguise in the movie, it's not too bad. But he poses as this person. He has everybody that's in this movie, he paid them to be in this movie. He actually spent money to pay the people. You could think of this as a Borat type film. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So he is kind of like, interviewing people and turning the tables on them, getting themselves to telling themselves, getting themselves to trip up and say some dumb stuff, and they've got it on film, and they paid them. But anyway, so the premise is that he goes around, and some of these people some of you guys have heard about these dinners that white people will pay to go to. And you have a couple women who will, while you're eating dinner, they will tell you why you're racist because you're white. Not because of your actions, but because you are a white person, therefore you are inherently racist. And they basically put you through a struggle session while you're eating dinner. And people pay for this. People pay to have this happen to them. He also he also has a website.
People pay for whips and chains too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He also, let's see if I can get these pictures up. Okay. So he also set up a fake website. This is so funny. Set up a fake website called Do the Work Workshop. Okay. And the Do the Work Workshop, if you look at this, it is super hyperbolic, but it says the Do the Work Workshop is an innovative new anti-racism workshop that is taking our nation by storm. With a bold, innovative approach, this workshop challenges the status quo and pushes the boundaries of anti-racism. So my favorite one here is Hello Colonizer. Before we begin, embrace your woeful ignorance and take a moment to acknowledge whose land you illegally possess. The one, do you over smile? According to the illustrious Robin DiAngelo, who is a super serious race hustler, white liberal woman with a lot of white guilt, who wrote a book called White Fragility, says, according to the illustrious Robin DiAngelo, many black people have suffered the awkwardness of white people over smiling. If you are guilty of over smiling, we invite you to take our 2-hour intensive course at a theater near you. The time to heal is now. Let's see. I'm going to bring up this other slide. Now, I tried to go to this actual, I actually tried to go to this website, and you cannot find it.
Yeah.
You cannot go to it. It was up. I don't know how to get to it, but I love this thing at the bottom here. You are racist, but how racist are you? And you look on a scale from 0 to 10. And I'm guessing this is George Floyd. I don't know who this is. I can't tell who that is.
Abraham Lincoln's right in the
Abraham Lincoln is in the middle. Donald Trump, and then we have a Ku Klux Klan member. A common misconception about racism is believing that one either is or isn't racist. However, racism is non-binary. Think of it as a scale from 0 to 10. How racist are you?
I
Were
mean,
you last
racism
night?
is the most diverse category of people that there is.
So
I
listen
mean,
to this. It says, "How racist were you last night when you crossed the street to avoid a black man?" And at the bottom, with an asterisk, it says, "Black people cannot be racist." no, no. This is again. This was like a faux thing. So he set up a workshop. He set up a workshop during the movie, and people attend it. And he kind of has that thing up on a billboard, and he's kind of going through it with people. But he also he interviews several people. He goes to the Deep South to talk to a bunch of Southerners about how they look at people and how they judge people. And that's probably where you get your most honest thing, where most of the people he probably interviewed probably said, well, I don't really care. It's like just what they do, their actions,
Yep.
But really this comedy or documentary, mockumentary is really about exposing people who continue to divide us by hustling race. And when you talk to a lot of people, you find out that things are not as bad or terrible as the media and as people like this who make money, money off of sowing the seeds of destruction.
Jesse Jackson was the master.
Jesse Jackson was the master, right? It's these people have made a living. They make millions of dollars. To think that someone would pay $1,000, $1,500 or more to go to a dinner to be told and yelled at that they are a horrible person just because they were born white. Why anybody would do that, I do not know, but there are people who do it. And so I'm going to tell you guys, I encourage you to go watch this movie, not because of the aspect of necessarily the subject matter, because in a way, I do think it is great to see a comedy. And, we think about it, this is the 50th anniversary of Blazing Saddles. And you want to talk about a movie that had all kinds of racial terminology and slang and stuff. And it's one of the funniest movies ever in the history of the world. And this is a comedy. And every review that you will see about this movie is that it is absolutely hilarious. And it just holds a mirror up to society to say, look, all this crap that the media peddles to you, your politicians, your movie stars on the red carpet, all this representation talk, and someone can't believe in a character unless they see themselves on screen, is that skin color, and all that crap is a bunch of bullshit. And I'm going to go see this movie tomorrow. I can't wait to give a thorough review of it. But from all accounts, I have heard it is absolutely hilarious. And as I go to Rotten Tomatoes right now,
they are not reporting the results.
99% audience rating.
Yeah.
1,000 plus verified ratings. This isn't review bombing, but yeah. And so critics, it's only been reviewed by like 5 critics. Critics will not review this movie, and
they won't touch
why.
it.
They're
because
scared
of what happened
to
Jeremy Jahns.
Yep. So, and if you guys don't know, and Matthew brought it up, Jeremy Jahns is one of the best movie reviewers on YouTube. He has been around for years.
He's been around since the beginning, but
yes.
I have never watched a single video of his.
Well, I have, honest. And he's great. He's quick. He is to the point with his reviews, and he is funny as shit. And I'm going to tell you, he did a review of this movie. Got 583,000 views as of right now. And there is a campaign to cancel him.
Yep.
There is a huge campaign just because he liked the movie.
Yep.
Just because he liked the movie. And they are going after him hardcore. And this guy has he has 1.98 million subscribers. And they are trying to take
this is going
to
go about as well as the coordinated attack against Star Wars Theory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's a whole nother ball game that we could get into. But Star Wars Theory, who is the largest Star Wars channel on YouTube, it's bigger than the official Star Wars channel from Disney. Star Wars Theory, and this guy gets no love from Disney.
Not anymore.
No, never did. They hate him. As a matter of fact, I want you guys to look something up too. Hear me out. Look up Star Wars Theory Vader fan film.
Oh, it's amazing.
Vader
you guys
fan
have to
film.
see it.
Episode 1 or Vader fan film, Star Wars Theory.
He's got another part
awesome.
coming out soon.
Spent his own money on it, and he is making part 2. Now he's made a lot of money off of YouTube. That thing blew up, and he's been able to do a lot of things. He has his own lightsaber company. Like I have one up here. It's not his, but it's another one. But he has his own lightsaber company. He's killing it. Dude has invested this, $1 million. He's putting another like $500,000 or something into this Vader episode 2. But look it up. It is Vader Star Wars Theory Vader fan film. He was able to make zero money off of it. The agreement he signed with Lucasfilm is he could not make any money off of that fan film on YouTube. No advertisements, no nothing. So he didn't make a single dime. He spent like $250,000, $500,000 making it.
So you heard what they did to him recently, right?
Yes, they monetized the film on YouTube. They monetized. Disney, per their agreement, was not going to make any money off of it. And just recently they're running ads on it, and Disney has taken the money.
Yep. So they monetized it so Disney could take the revenue from him.
Yes. Yeah, they're taking the revenue.
Because it was not his choice to monetize it.
No.
They did it behind his back.
Yep.
To take his money from him.
Yeah. Some evil shit. There's evil stuff afoot, man, out there. And I know you guys don't know a lot of these stories. And sometimes I'll talk about stuff. We'll talk about stuff and that is not in the toy world. And I know that not everybody keeps up with this. I know some of you do. And so, yeah, I want to, guys, check out that link that Matthew put in. Also, please like the stream if you get a chance. Anybody listen on the replay, definitely throw us a like on here, and hopefully soon be trying to get this thing to definitely grow. Going to be utilizing shorts more often and thumbnails and some other key things that'll help grow this channel for sure. But yeah, click on that link. It's
just
an
a
awesome
little bit about
film.
Star Wars Theory.
Yes.
I mean, he is a huge Star Wars fan. He loves Star Wars to the deepest core of his being, the George Lucas Star Wars. And he was so he entered into the venue lightly when talking about Disney Star Wars stuff for a long period of time. And then as it continued to get worse, he continued to be more outspoken about it. He wants to engage people and bring them in. And that's why he's the largest Star Wars channel on YouTube. And some of the OGs, some of the legitimate Star Wars fans that are OGs are connecting with him right now. And they're going to start doing some streams together so they can have discussions about this stuff, because they realize how much the Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. It has no association with Star Wars other than they steal the name and they appropriate these things, and they try to twist the concepts into their own things. George Lucas had a clear view in mind about what Star Wars was, and it's what made it great. It's what made it engaging. And Star Wars Theory, and he does a Cobra Kai Theory channel also, so he loves Cobra Kai as well.
Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z,
yeah, I mean, this guy is a super fan, so much so that he made 2 fan films that he knows that he will never make a dime off of. Right? But he made these fan films with
29 million views on this Vader Episode 1, Shards of the Past, a Star Wars Theory fan film right here on screen. 29 million views.
Yeah.
It still gets 86 views per hour.
Yep.
5 years later. But when this came out, I was blown away by it. I said, this is quite literally probably the best fan film that I've ever seen since like Troops. Yeah.
I love Troops.
He does a lot of fanfic stuff too, and what ifs
Yeah.
and all that stuff. These are animated ones that he did. It's 8 million views, 2.3, 4 million, 2.4. Let alone he's covered the comics, he's covered the old canon. He's definitely partial to George Lucas for sure. He doesn't care for any of the newer stuff, but he definitely gives it a shot. And people are trying to cancel him. They're trying to go after him because he didn't like The Acolyte. And it's
because he didn't like a television show.
Yeah, what world do you live in when you
there are
don't like the
entire
show
channels out there
and
that are
people
so
try to
jealous of
take your
him?
livelihood?
Yeah, there are other channels out there that are so jealous of him from the beginning that initially they tried to reach out and learn from him, and now that they've spent their entire effort to try and cancel and demonetize this person in the guise of saying he's hateful, he wants us all destroyed and demonetized, when that's exactly what they're doing to him. And it's sick. It's absolutely sick.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I'll tell you though, man, this guy, he really is like, he is something else. And good dude. He works out. He had cancer as a kid.
Yeah.
And
when you hear his full story, you get a whole appreciation for this man and his life struggles and what he's had to deal with and what many of us have had to deal with. Not necessarily the cancer. Sometimes I had to deal with it. Many people have had to deal with it, but not just that part of it, but the exclusionary tactics of people who don't want to engage in the stuff that you love. He loves Star Wars. People hated him for it. People despised him for it. He was the one that was picked on all the time. And this is what became of that struggle, that strife that he had in his life. He turned it against them. He made it a creative endeavor. He did something with that pain and torture that he experienced as a kid.
Dreadnought K6, what's up? No worries. Being late is all good. As long as you're here, no worries at all, my friend. I appreciate you stopping by for sure. Yeah, Eric, check it out. Anybody else, check it out. I'm telling you, man, like, it's good stuff. Triple C stopping by too. We're right here at the back end of it. Yeah, man. Good channel, good dude. And you guys, if you like Star Wars, this is the channel to watch, for content. There are others out there, but like, this dude, he keeps it real. He'll do watch parties and that's fun too. Especially when there's a show out, it's week to week episodes. So check him out. Star Wars Theory. I've enjoyed his channel.
He's super engaging. He's like really
5
really
or 6
good,
years at least now. And so yeah. But that Vader fan film, unbelievable. Almost
it's amazing.
30 million views almost. I mean, that's huge. But anyway, so tomorrow, and we kind of got off that, but it ain't no big deal because I don't really care. But tomorrow I'm going to go see that movie, the Matt Walsh movie, Am I Racist? And it's really a comedy. And so, we're sorely lacking in comedies out of Hollywood. And so I'm ready to, ready to see a good one. And I've heard nothing but good things. And if over 1,000 people so far have watched it and it's got a 99% on the popcorn-o-meter or whatever, I'm good with that, but I'll make my own decision. But I'll give a detailed review or at least my thoughts on it on Friday.
Awesome.
There are reviews out right now. Nerdrotic has one that was really good, very funny. And he does a really good job with that one. Just come out today. On Nerdrotic's channel, but yeah, man. Like I said, right now with show wise and kind of feeling things out and seeing kind of what you guys are interested in, there's not a ton going on, but there is some stuff coming up here, and we'll have a couple bigger movies coming out. Joker 2 is going to be coming out very soon. Going to see that, give a review of that. I'm guessing you're going to go see it too, right?
I want to make every effort to go see that for sure.
So we'll be able to give you guys an opinion on that one too. And then I'll kind of look at the slate moving forward. Real quick, I did want to say I did pick up this bad boy, Destro #3 comic, and I got Scarlet #4. I got Transformers #12. I did get the most recent G.I. Joe Real American Hero the other day, and then I picked this one up. This is Marvel 50, and it's Star Wars comic. And they have a Vader one coming out in a couple days. This has Luke on the front. Now, yes, it does tie into the sequel trilogy, which I hate, but it is a story about Luke taking Ben Solo through a journey and telling him a story about when he was a young Jedi. And it looked pretty cool. Like I said, there's a Vader one coming out. So this one is at your comic shop right now. It is a little expensive, $7.99. But anyway, so yeah, this is pretty cool. So I picked up those recently. Yeah, 3-star. You're not missing much, really.
I mean,
they don't advance the story very much in this latest issue.
Yeah,
Not really.
The Scarlet book's okay. I mean, it's not terrible. It's got some good parts to it, but it is altering the G.I. Joe storyline as we knew it, and that's fine. It's a different universe, but it's doing some things out of order, out of sequence that don't sit quite well with me. But it's been entertaining. It's an interesting story. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. The Destro story is getting better. I've been appreciating that one. I also got another one called Lonesome Days, Savage Nights. It's a werewolf type of story. I'm big into werewolves.
Yeah, hey man, no, that's cool.
It's pretty good. There's 2 volumes of it out that are out right now. There's a third one that's coming. The Dracula story that I told you about before, Dracula the Impaler, with Kelly Jones as the artist, and that story was freaking awesome. And the second volume is getting ready to go on Kickstarter. I guess they're still doing the Kickstarter model, which I don't like very much anymore. But he's going that route, and he's doing Dracula Volume 2, The Brides. And so if they go into as much detail as they did with the Impaler, the Bride story is going to be just as good. And that's awesome if you like the Dracula story. And I hope that they do Dracula the way he was written in the book, which is, honestly, Monster Force is the only Dracula that has been coming out that is actually more accurate to the books than any other Dracula figure that's been put out, because Dracula always had a beard. I'm just saying.
Nice. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. Listen, I'm not a big beard person, but I ain't hating on Dracula with a beard. And I want to say hi to Christine Mendoza.
What's up, Christine?
Here.
Nice to see you.
Definitely.
3-star.
Let's see.
It's a werewolf story, right? It's a werewolf story written by Larry Hama. Yes, of course.
Right. Yeah, I have, the Scarlet book, it has its issues. Whatever. There's nothing just
4 of them now.
Extremely forward. Hello. Great. Good stuff. I have to admit, that was fantastic. Yeah, so a little late on that one. There we go. Hello. But yeah, no. It's all right. And it's not shoving anything in your face. It's not getting anything too bad. It's
right.
It is there, whatever. But as a story, there's not a lot there. As a matter of fact, throughout the books, she spends more panels talking about, Jinx and like how much she wants to save her. Or, I'm here for her. I don't care about this. It's like, and there's a lot of those panels. I'm not going to lie. Like, there is a lot of those panels. And it's in the 4th book, too. Her talking to herself, or it's translated in Japanese. So they have little things around it, and Storm Shadow's in it. It's, he's cool. But again, you don't get a lot with him. And they're after an artifact, so to speak. So the culmination will be the next book, because there's only 5 of these. I do like the Destro book a little bit better.
Yeah, agreed.
I do like it. Super cool. Transformers moving very at a glacial pace. I'll say that. I do like it, but
I read the first trade. I think that's 6 issues that came out for the Transformers series, and they were interesting, but they're not grabbing my attention like
Yes.
like some of the other books are. And quite honestly, the Void Rivals book, I could care less about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, whatever. It's the Transformer stuff. I like the characters, but man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, I will tell you this, and maybe you can help me out with this real quick before we hop off. Um, were comics longer in the 80s?
Yes.
This shit kills me, man. When you buy a comic and you read it in under like 5 minutes. It's
So
it's so ridiculous, man. Like
I
there's
mean,
so much,
it's a
there's so
content
little
thing.
story.
Yeah, it's a content thing. It's a page rate thing. And so, whereas they used to be 26 pages per issue, now they're down to 21 pages, 20 pages per issue. And they're actually putting less stuff in them. So, you're hiring the bottom of the barrel writers. And so they're producing bottom of the barrel tech product. And so they're
Yeah,
not writing
man.
quality stuff, or they're not presenting visuals in a manner that tell a story correctly, because everybody has their own artist take on, and they want to tell their story their own way, and they don't take into account the Marvel way of telling stories,
So
right?
I
Which is
get
a great book.
Yeah, I get this too. Christine says I stopped because too many ads and larger panels. Well, yeah, I'm with you, man. Like the there's a ton of ads, but now they backload them, right?
Yeah,
Like older comics had them kind of in the middle, and you would have, but the pages would be pretty much filled out until the end where you get your reader questions and stuff. But yeah, I just feel like a lot of times there's a lot of useless panels, padded out, you know, and it just kind of pads these books out, and they not only don't have as many pages, but there's just not as much to. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, it's just I was shocked, and I haven't collected comics in years, and so I was kind of going back and comparing some of my old stuff, old Spider-Man issues, and X-Men, and even my old GI Joe stuff, and I'm gonna tell you, even if it's 2 pages, right? That's 4 sides. That's a lot of panels. I mean, that's a lot of panels. So
yeah,
that's a lot of story that you're missing out. And God knows they're promoting. There's like 4 pages for some other comic in the very back. Then you have a reader section that's 2 to 3 pages long.
right.
And so yeah, it's frustrating. And at $3.99 a piece or whatever, yeah, I'm with you. Especially too many ads, larger panels, definitely. And so yeah, it's a shame. And of course, keeping up the fact that a lot of comics these days are not good, because there's a lot of people writing them that have an agenda. So, but luckily for the most part, that stayed out of this.
And like I said, if you
All right.
go more the independent route, and
Yes,
if you look
sure.
at Titan Comics and their Conan stories, they're awesome. If you look at some of these independents like Chuck Dixon and what he's doing right now, the Horseman is a project that's going on right now. They've already made $500,000 on that, selling what 4 or 5,000 books or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're continuing that project, and you follow the writers, the creators that you like, that make quality
Right.
product. Kelly
Right.
Jones, he's been doing awesome stuff. And you find these things out there. If you love comics, you want to see comics, talk to us, let us know. We'll talk to you about some of the creators that are out there doing independents, some of the stuff that are doing mainstream stuff still that is working. There's still some mainstream stuff that's out there that is doing okay, or
Yeah.
is good, but you just got to do your research on it.
Yeah, you definitely do. I will tell you one thing they do not carry at the comic shop, and that is Eric July. There is no Eric
Yep.
July at the comic shops. That's for
So
sure.
so there are a few, but very few comic book retailers that are actually carrying Eric July's stuff in the store. And I think they're fools not to, but
Yeah.
as you see by the campaigns, They are fools not to.
Yeah, and he's not missing them at
But
all.
he's not missing them at all, because he is going direct
No.
to consumer,
Yep.
and the consumers are catching on, and they're catching wind of it, and they're picking it up, and it's good stuff.
So
Like I
that's
said,
the thing. Well, go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to step on you there.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, if you are an artist or a creator, if you're comics or something like that, you have more avenues than ever before to reach your customers,
Yeah.
right? And people that may like your stuff. So it's proven out there. If you have something that people are gonna like, and you work on it hard enough to get it out there, you can have success. It's you don't have to have somebody publish your book, right? Like, you don't have to go somewhere to have it. You can do it yourself and get that into the hands of the people that really want it, and you get to take that profit from that. Those proceeds. So, if you are a creator or an artist or something like that, there are ways now to do it, and it's not just such a daunting task. You don't have to go with Marvel or DC.
Right.
Whatever. And 3-Star Draw asked real quick, did everybody remember to submit their pick to Skybound?
I did.
Skybound. I know you did. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie, I did forget. But good reminder. And I know this is a conversation for Eric from 3-Star, but yeah, it's good to point out Skybound had a thing going. If you sent them a picture, they're going to put an upcoming issue of the new Joe series, the Inner John Joe book. So yeah, no, it's super cool. I forgot all about it. I'm guessing that deadline is over. Did I miss that, or is that
I don't remember when it ended. I knew it was in September. It may have passed by now.
And I don't know,
because that book comes out like next month, I think.
Yeah, so I'm sure. Yeah, totally. Band competition went great. They took second in music, first in drumline, first in visuals. They're very good competition. Pretty tough stuff. So yeah, we got another one coming up this Saturday, and then another one after that. So
all right.
I'll let you guys know. But thanks for asking, Dreadnought, for sure, man. Thank you so much. All right, man. Listen, that's all I got. We're a little over tonight, but that's okay. And again, it's really, for me, it's all about making sure Matthew gets enough rest and that he is good to go and all that for whatever he needs to do. I am off tomorrow, so I could stay up all night long. But I do want to try to figure out how to fix this intro and get this commercial done, by God. And I want to thank anybody that was there for the commercial. I appreciate it. Anybody that was in that helped out. I really do appreciate y'all. It's unfortunately, it didn't capture any of the chat. There is a way to do it using like OBS and a screen capture rather than using recordings, the stream. So I just want to let y'all know, as far as making that commercial, it did not capture the chat, only what we highlighted, such as something like this right here or that right there. So there are some fun things in there, but yeah, it didn't do what I wanted it to do, and I apologize for that. I had no idea. But anyway, yeah, man, that's about all I got. I will be doing a Friday stream. Of course, it will be. I will let you guys know. I wish I could get that thumbnail out faster and let you know an exact time. But if you're on the lookout for it, be on the lookout for it. I'll do an unfiltered stream this weekend on Friday before the football game. I don't want to do it after. It's a long night. But I'll keep y'all in the loop for sure, man. I really will. Matthew, obviously, let everybody know. I know you've got it right there on the screen. I'm going to switch you around here. I'm going to put you front and center and let everybody know your Instagram. I know they know it already, but for anybody on the replay, you can find Matthew's Instagram channel at
Mamu's Action Figure Blog and Mamu's Action Figure Blog 2. I post there. I post on my main one every day. All kinds of stuff. I've got some G.I. Joe stuff a couple times a week, Mezco stuff, some Savage Crucible, some comic book stuff all the time. I posted a bunch of my skeletons recently. I've got some more stuff coming up with them that are tributes to Frank Frazetta artwork that's coming up with some Conan and some Sun Wukong and some other stuff. So I like to take photos of stuff, and took a bunch today. Ninja Turtles on Tuesday generally. But yeah, check it out. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support, guys.
Yeah, man. Definitely love your pictures. And you get a lot of likes on there. I know a lot of people peruse your stuff, and it's worth it. There's some really good stuff. Yeah, man. That's about all I've got, other than just letting y'all know about Friday and the unfiltered stream. And 3-Star will maybe try to figure it out, and maybe do it again. And if we can do it again, I'll do a screen record that time, and that will allow me to record the entire screen and get the chat next time. So that'd be fun if you're into it.
You know how to reach me, bud.
Okay.
Reach me on Instagram.
Yeah. That'd be great. Yep. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, because you know how hard it is when you're streaming too, about liking and subscribing and all that. Of course, yes. Tomorrow night, Sevens Wild on 3-Star Draw's channel. For you guys, tune in, because we have a Escape from Cobra Island theme tomorrow, setting up our team of who we would want and why we want them to break us out. That will be our main topic. We'll go over some of the stuff from Pulsecon probably, and a couple other things. And I know that 3-Star definitely has a video that has taken off once again about Hasbro. And yeah, definitely.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Y'all be monetized by now, by God, that's for sure. At least one of the criteria. But yeah, so check that out. That'll be tomorrow night. We'll start that at 9 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on 3-Star Draw's channel, Sevens Wild. I'll be there along with 3-Star Draw. That'll be fun. You guys tune in, man. Let's keep it going. Get these streams up, man. Thanks so much, everybody, for hanging in and tuning in and listening to us ramble on. Really appreciate it. And we will see y'all next week. And that's about it, man. Matthew, always, man, it's a pleasure. Really appreciate it. And I will talk to you soon. And all of you, y'all have a great rest of your week. Thank you so much.